Ready? It's a Offenbach, New York. Whoa! Give you a bit of a hand.
Hi, I'm Sandra. It's day one of Pianos Recycled, and we're just waiting to hear from Sylvia to see if she's sold our piece in the shop, and also waiting to hear whether the block's interested in building our piano. So not a bad day to begin. It's July 1, 2016. Let's see how it goes. Bye.
there was about, up until the First World War, there would have been about 1 million pianos imported into Australia. Now these pianos are coming to their end of life. My name's Peter Humphreys. I'm a partner in the circular economy startup called Pianos Recycled. Similar to circular economy principles in that we want to do something with the parts of the piano that the piano wasn't built for initially, but the parts are still really useful for and really valuable for. So the transformation is repurposing that piano into new objects and new creative ideas so the piano can continue to live on in a different form, give people enjoyment as the piano did initially. 10% of piano, we're finding 10% of pianos can be restored to playing condition. So we try and do that. About 12,000 parts in a piano and 7,000 of them are moving. So, but not all parts can be used in other pianos. And half a piano's weight is made up of timber. So the timbers in there are beautiful old forest. Timber is obviously can be used for furniture objects or it can be used for repairing older antique. We're running pretty close to break even, so we're not making an enormous amount of profit at this stage. And part of that is because we've discovered that a lot of people want to get rid of pianos at the moment because they just either don't have room or they, it has no sentimental value to them anymore. And we haven't built up the industry behind it, the craftspeople that aren't aware that all this beautiful material exists. There is such a focus now on the circular economy. We get rid of waste and to stop the use and dispose philosophy that we've got in life, and hopefully that will continue. So people respect that we shouldn't be creating more waste. We should be reusing and the materials that we already have the best we can and put them back into the system.
This is an ancient 3/4 iron frame piano. Looks like a Renardi from a period. Unfortunately, the front panel and the fallboard have been junked already, but we're going to take aspects of it that we can with it. The front lid's on the top. There is salvageable material in here, things like the hinge. Other things, this piano, why is it doesn't have a future, apart from the fact it's been sitting out in the water. The main thing is that someone in the past, a professional person, has put these big coach bolts right through the piano, and there are these lovely big bolts and nuts sitting out the back. So this piano's had tuning problems and structural problems for a very long time. So today we're going to start with deconstructing the piano. It's not probably the first choice of one that we would have gone with, but we will break it down and get it to a point where we can salvage material out of it rather than it going to landfill. None of the rest is.
Sort of a shame. You sort of look at the individual pins and just sort of think about something that could be used.
Well, it could. You could run it through a wood chip. You'd have to remove every piece of metal, every spring, etc. And for what you'd get out of it, it's not worth it. I have a pinch bar. I didn't really want to bring it because that would imply using a pinch bar would imply that something's going wrong. Now that normally shouldn't happen because that really someone's put screws in it because this piano has started to pull apart. So normally that would just pop off in one go. Now, funnily enough, although this piano's been outside, we now come to the next bit of hardware where the casters are actually, can be in reasonable nick. We've got one more strictly speaking, these are both. This is both recyclable but also parts.
So they might come in handy down the track.
They might come in handy down the track. Okay, don't worry about that yet.
Yep, grab this one here.
This comes out. Well, we've got to get this off first.
And that just pops out, doesn't it?
Yep. I don't know if I want to waste our time today with that. Normally I would. Yeah.
That was a good video. Do you want to do a commentary, Mike?
Not really, not because the language might get a little choice. So. Don't rain.
It's been threatening.
It has. Okay, now we go. All right, you ready? Set. Beautiful. Okay, let's go over top towards you. Right, now you want to stick this on your scales?
Yep.
Don't want to wreck it. It is starting to pull.
It's a good opportunity for us to learn and get some interaction from people that are passionate about some of the same things that we are. And I'll explain why we are passionate. There's three of us in Pianos Recycle. It might be pianos in Australia, nobody knows how many exactly. They're all given away. They could be in church halls, they could be in Auntie or Grandma's house and hasn't been used for years. Now they get to a certain point and they can't be retuned, and then so they're either given away or as most of them are thrown down in landfill. So this is what the objective of Pianos Recycle was: to redirect or to create a community around this activity, this enterprise, this new business, where we're engaging other artisans and people with like-minded stuff, like Victoria Woodworkers Association, that can use the materials and create something new from a piano. So that's where we are with that. We've got, I believe, some of you, or at least one of you, Hamish, might have had some experience with a musical instrument in pulling it apart and reusing the wood, but it isn't no one else is doing it. You know, you wonder why. You do see a lot of this on YouTube where everybody's bashing pianos. There are competitions for smash pianos, and we think that's just dreadful. So what we're doing is collecting as many of these, but also building this community of like-minded interests and partners and collaborators, so that we can go out there and we can actually produce something of value, something of beauty that we can take out there and other people will appreciate it in the long term. saving the tip, we're saving waste from being created, and we're also creating an industry, as small as it is, around this enterprise as well.
With a saw in his hand, taking apart a piano. But as Peter's indicated, there is method in our madness. There is a purpose behind the whole thing. In terms of where, I guess the best to give you a quick overview of where do these pianos come from. Generally speaking, pianos we see in Australia will have 4 origins: Britain, Europe, America, and here in Australia. And all those 4 places have woodworking traditions, and all those 4 places therefore offer a variation of different types of material, different types of thought, and of course it must be said, due to the respective age of each market dominance of each player in that market, each of them from a technological point means that the pianos that we are recycling have, generally speaking, reached the end of their useful life as pianos. The piano in front of us, for instance, laid out here, I'm fairly confident none of you have seen a piano disassembled quite like this before, at least not in real life, maybe in a photograph somewhere. This piano was built in Melbourne in about 1910, 1912 in Bendigo Street, Richmond. Some of you would know it as GTV9. Before it was GTV9, it was Heinz Soups, but it was actually built by the Wertheim Piano Company in 1908. The timbers in it will be predominantly, almost entirely Australian produced. So you're looking at posts, etc., being spruce or sometimes hardwood, but in this case spruce. And most of the core timber in the panel were spruce with, in this case, walnut veneers. Radial saw through it, and they get fine things that get very knotty, grain because they've actually cut through the tree. So those are the things you'll see in European pianos, predominantly walnut, almost, I won't say exclusively, until you get to around the time coming up to the 1910s, where of course the German consumption of wood and ivory and various things has been so massive that you now then start to see rosewoods and mahogany standing. Meanwhile in America, big massive range of timbers in America, of course, across the whole continent. You will see the most common ones. You'll see American pianos will be the American walnut, such as this. And you don't see black American pianos. So this piece here, which is the lid of an American piano, looks like it might be black. And I do get people around and say, I've got to play a piano. Get an olive. And it's ebony. No, it's not. They didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen. To our guest of honour, Councillor Yu Chun Chia, Councillor and Mayor of City of Greater Dandenong, welcome, thank you very much, and also to Councillors Ros Blade and Tim Darby, thank you. We approach these things with five essential things of our ethos: respect, which is for the past, for the craftsmanship, for the provenance, for the story that's gone before, and for the sacrifice in each piano. To reduce landfill and the impact of the dumping of pianos on the environment. To restore pianos where possible, like the ones down the middle here, which were destined for the tip, to play in condition where possible and to find new homes and young musicians to play them. To repurpose pianos, such as you see here, quality, rare and ancient materials for unique, bespoke products for the modern age. And finally, to recycle where possible, processing the residual material for reuse. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming today. I'm going to invite Councillor Yu Chun Chia to say a few words. Thanks, Councillor.
Thank you, Mike. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owner of this land and pay my respect to their elders both past and present. Also, I would like to acknowledge my fellow Councillor Rose Bland, AM, and Councillor Tim Dak. I am delighted to be here today for the official opening of the piano recycle. It is very exciting occasion, particularly given that piano recycle is believed to be the first facility of its kind. This is a global issue that thousands of old piano now coming to the end of their life. This presents a number of challenges in relation to their proposal due to their heavy weight and high volume. That's where the piano recycle comes in. Not only are they helping to address this issue by reducing the volume of piano going to landfill, but they are helping to change the community's perception from waste to resource by showing how we can create new things of value from things we no longer need. At the City of Greater Dandenong, we are committed to preserving our natural resources and reducing our impact of the environment. In fact, the best way we can all conserve our natural resources, reduce air pollution, save energy, and cut greenhouse gas is to avoid creating waste in the first place. We can also work together to reduce the amount of waste being sent to landfill by recycling as much as possible. And now this can include your old piano sent to piano recycle. After all, any measure that reduces the amount of waste sent to landfill is good news for the environment. I would like to congratulate the piano recycle on the wonderful work that they are doing. And it gives me great pleasure to be here today to officially open this fantastic facility. Thank you.
Councillor, we've even dug up a recycled pair of scissors. And snip wherever you feel necessary.
The story leading up to the ivory ban began centuries ago. In 1800, around 26 million elephants are estimated to have roamed Africa.
Giant elephant tusks, East Africa, white gold on the borders of Abyssinia.
In the early 1900s, shooting an elephant on safari was the height of manliness for wealthy Westerners. Already the mass production of combs, brush handles, piano keys, and pool balls was fueling an ivory frenzy.
On the little white ball.
By 1913, the United States was consuming 200 tons of ivory per year, and Africa's elephants had dropped to an estimated 10 million. World appetite for ivory continued to decimate elephant herds until by 1979, only 1.3 million were left. Even as many Westerners realized the consequences of the trade, Asian demand picked up. By 1989, elephants numbered only 600,000. For conservationist Richard Leakey, who had just been named director of the Kenya Wildlife Service, time had almost run out for the elephant.
I felt we've got to do something really dramatic, that if you could bring world attention to the problem facing elephant, you can stop it.
Leakey convinced Kenya's president to publicly burn the country's stockpile of accumulated ivory. The images rallied the world. Within a year, trade in ivory was banned worldwide, and demand evaporated. With little killing for over 10 years, the elephant population rebounded, growing to nearly 1 million. But decisions in 1999 and 2008 changed everything. Under pressure from Southern African and Asian countries, CITES allowed 2 special sales of stockpiled ivory, thus sanctioning a legal trade in tusks. The result has been devastation.
We'll start with who, what, where, when and how. We'll start with why. I'm a piano tuner. I've been in the industry since I left school. My parents started our family business in 1970. I've been tuning pianos for 40 years, and so over the last 5 to 10 years I've started to lament rather more and more the wasteful destruction of tipping out basically of a lot of pianos, etc. And finally we've started to do figures calculated over the last 2 years that with Pianos Recycled has been in business. We calculate that here in Melbourne alone we put in the tip approximately 10 to 12 pianos a week. So on a rough calculation of, let's say, 1 piano for every 500,000 people in Australia per week, that means we tip out 2,500 pianos a year in Australia. That means approximately about every 6 to 7 years, Australia fills a space the size of the MCG with pianos. So next time you're driving past it, you can have a look at that and think that in the last 7 years around Australia, with medium-sized upright piano that we're all familiar with, weighs about 1/4 of a tonne. We then broke them down and we went through the process of weighing the first half dozen pianos, so we got a measuring stick of what was composed, and we found out that every piano has approximately 100 to 110 kilograms of timber. Right, so it's an interesting way to measure timber because that's not normally how it's done. We're normally talking timber between board feet or square inches, etc., etc. But in the case of it, it's because what you get from that piano produces this table. The posts in the back of the leg made up the posts of the table here.
If owning a piano has been out of reach, how about leasing one for free during lockdown? Pre-loved ones are making their way into homes around Melbourne, with a local startup finding many ways to bring old instruments back to life. Madeline Slattery has the story.
It's been a while since Eliska has tickled the ivories. She was stood down from her work in hotel reception a few months ago. Now, with so much free time, she's getting her groove on in lockdown.
Relaxes your mind, so it takes you away from all the thinking about bad things, and you can just enjoy yourself and be happy.
Her weapon of choice is on loan from Pianos Recycled, a local business that's been injecting new life into some of the oldest pianos in the state.
We do have a number of pianos here that are in playing condition that we're happy to see go out to people where they can have them rent-free for 3 months.
Anyone interested will only have to pay for delivery, which is music to the ears of the Corbel family.
We're in a world where we buy and we throw away things so much, too much, I could say. So this is a beautiful idea, of course, to take advantage of these beautiful, unique objects.
But inside the Keysborough workshop, you won't only find pianos. The instruments that have passed their use-by date are playing along in a new song.
We take the keys and I strip off the thin layer of ivory.
Ivory and ebony repurposed into jewellery.
We actually try and support an elephant orphanage in Kenya with proceeds of sales of our jewellery.
Pianos Recycled started around 4 years ago, and over that time more than 100 pianos have come through this workshop. And while they haven't all left as an actual instrument, one thing's for sure, they have all been saved from going to landfill.
Saved probably somewhere between 25 and 30 tonnes of landfill.
Furniture designer Tim is fashioning this one into a desk. It's among a number of projects he's completed.
It's a really great thing to be able to take that material and then rework it into something new.
If you're looking to come out of lockdown on a high note, information is on the Pianos Recycled website. Madeline Slattery, 9 News.
What a great...
Many of Melbourne's schoolyards are coming alive with the sounds of music. Old pianos are being returned and restored to their former glory as part of a new recycling program. The pianos are donated to the schools, which pay for the cost of their restoration.
Rosemary, everyone, thank you very much for the invitation to come along. It beats, well, sitting and watching could be a calamitous first hour in the Ashes test at home. So, well, it might be calamitous for the English, of course. However, thank you very much. Pianos Recycled, well, two of you are familiar with Pianos Recycled is a venture just barely 3 years into its life. And three central partners, myself.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together.
Danger zone people are being told to stay home. A message that struck a chord in this flooded house. The Queensland spirit shining through.
two of our older students.